Welcome to workout number 19. For today's workout, we have our pelvic stability focused programming. This is going to be focusing on the various myofascial slings to help support the pelvic girdle. So we have the anterior oblique sling, which runs from the chest to the oblique, crosses the front pelvic joint into the inner thigh of the opposite leg. We have the posterior oblique sling, which is the lat to the opposite glute, crossing across the low back and the SI joint area. And then we have some lateral sling work, which is going to be single leg stability. For today's workout, we have 3 movements. We have a bridge march with lateral resistance, we have a quadruped pull through, and then we have a bird dog row. For the first movement, we're gonna attach a band roughly around knee level to like your door frame or to a sturdy structure. And then you're gonna come into a supine position in a bridge. So I'm gonna have the band, and I'm gonna pull it to the center of my chest, so I'm resisting a pull towards that point of attachment, and then I'm gonna elevate my hips. The closer the band is to my chest, the easier this will be. The further I hold it away, the harder it'll be, and the more pull that I'm gonna have towards that point of point of attachment. And then I'm gonna lift one leg up, maintaining this position, drop that foot down. I'm gonna shift my weight into the outside foot, and then lift the inside leg up. You'll find that lifting the inside leg will be the harder of the two. And then I'm just gonna alternate between the two, trying to maintain my hip and torso position the entire time. After 30 seconds, you'll flip around and do the other side. If you find the hips elevated is too much, you can lower the hips down, and then you'll just lift one leg at a time. You'll still have that resistance, it just won't be quite as intense. The next movement we have will be the quadruped pull through. So I'm gonna come into a tabletop position. With the outside hand, I'm gonna hold onto that band, and I should already have some resistance in the band in this tabletop position. I'm gonna reach towards that point of attachment and then rotate to pull that band to the outside of the torso. Reach in and then pull. Different things that we can do for this setup is we can be in this tabletop position. We could be in more of a bird dog position where I'm pulling the band and using opposite hand, opposite leg to stabilize. The toe can be down or the foot can be elevated. And then we can also be in a plank position as we pull. So you'll just kind of find the setup that works best for you, either tabletop, bird dog, or a plank position. The final movement we have is gonna be the bird dog row, which will be our posterior oblique sling exercise. So for the bird dog row, we have 2 setup options. You can either have your support hand on an elevated surface like a yoga block. This is just gonna make it so you can straighten the arm as you row. The other option will be to just have 2 weights. So you'll have your 2 weights. This is gonna elevate you so that you can row and have the arm be straight at the bottom. Otherwise, where the arm will be a little bit elevated or the arm will be bent as you bring it down. So having that little bit of elevation helps. With the bird dog row, the opposite hand is gonna row to the leg that's extending. So I'm gonna exhale to extend and row, and then I can switch sides. Exhale to extend and row. If you're doing an option with like a yoga block, you'll just do one side at a time. So in the workout, we're gonna do one side at a time, but if you're at home, you can alternate if you'd like. As I extend that leg back, I'm really focusing on keeping my rib and pelvis together, so I'm not arching in the back as I extend. These 2 points are pulling towards one another. So I'm gonna inhale to come back to my starting position, exhale to extend, really focusing on these 2 staying together. Think like you're standing on a wall behind you, and then inhale, come back in. So for today's workout, we have 3 rounds, 30 seconds each, of the bridge march with lateral resistance. So we'll do it in each direction. For the quadruped pull through, we'll do 30 seconds on each side, and then we'll finish up with that bird dog row. We'll do just one side at a time, but if you're at home, you can alternate for both portions of it. So we'll start round number 1 with that lateral resistance bridge march. So come onto your back, pull that band to the center of your chest, elevate the hips, and begin to lift one leg at a time. So I'm gonna think put weight into the foot and then lift the other side. You should be feeling a pull towards that point of attachment. If not, put more tension in the band, push the hands further from the chest, or move away from the point of attachment. So think put weight into the foot and then lift the leg. So I'm gonna put weight into my outside leg and then lift the leg. And again, if this is too much, just drop the hips and you can just lift the knees one at a time. Go ahead and switch to the other direction. So you're just gonna face the head and the other direction, band still at that same setup. Pull the band to the center of the chest, and either hips elevated or down, begin to lift one leg up at a time. So as you lift, we're really focusing on maintaining the hip and torso position. And if you feel like this is too easy or you're not feeling that pull, Move a little bit further away, straighten the arms a little bit more, elevate the hips if they're down on the floor. So exhale to lift, inhale, come back down. Coming into our tabletop position for that pull through. So again, we can be in tabletop, bird dog, or a plank. So we're here, reaching towards that point of attachment, pull to the outside of the chest, and then reach back in. And then again, if this tabletop position feels too easy or you're not really feeling it in the core, maybe we come into a bird dog position. So we're gonna challenge the core a little bit more with less support, or we can come into that plank position. So exhale to pull, inhale to reach. Switching to the opposite side. So again, you're just facing in the other direction. Do the same setup that you did on that other side. So either our tabletop position or bird dog. So reach towards that point of attachment, row out, reach, exhale to pull, reach, exhale to pull. And then moving on to that bird dog row. So again, you can use 2 weights or you can have 1 weight, hand elevated up on like a yoga block, and then the other arm will be down. So I'm gonna exhale to row, opposite hand, opposite leg. Inhale, come back down, row, inhale, come back down. As I row, I'm trying to form this like 90-degree angle with my arm. So I'm not pulling up to the shoulder, I'm thinking pull back to the bottom of the rib cage. Inhale down, exhale to extend. Also focusing on that rib and pelvic position, so I'm not arching in the back as I extend. I'm thinking stand on the wall behind me, inhale, come back in. Go ahead and switch sides. So moving my yoga block to the other side, hand is on my elevated surface, putting weight into that hand and knee, and then exhale to extend, inhale, lower down. Think standing on the wall behind you. As you come into this extended position, you can try to lift the leg up towards the ceiling without arching and kind of find what your like max point is, but you don't have to. So exhale to extend, inhale, lower down. Moving into round 2, back to that lateral bridge march with banded resistance. So coming onto your back, grab the bands so we have some resistance. Hands closer to the chest will be easier. Further away will be a little bit harder. Put weight into that leg and then lift. So exhale, lift the legs. Inhale to lower down. So put weight into that foot and then lift. So I'm thinking shift the weight, then lift, as opposed to trying to do this like super quick where you're wobbling all over the place. So put weight into that foot, lift the leg up, put weight into that foot, lift the leg up. And then switch sides. So putting the head in the opposite direction, bring that band to the center of the chest, either into the chest or pushing straight out. So lift one foot, put the foot down, and then lift the other. And again, the outside foot down is gonna be more challenging than the inside foot down. And then exhale, lift, shift the weight. And if you're not really feeling a pull or this feels super easy, move further away from that point of attachment, move the band further from the chest, and if the hips are down, you can elevate them. Coming into your tabletop position or your variation of the quadruped pull. So either tabletop, bird dog, or even a plank position. So reaching towards that point of attachment, exhale, pull out, inhale to reach, exhale to pull. Switching sides, facing in the other direction, doing the same variation that you did on this side. So if you did tabletop, do tabletop, bird dog, or plank. So reach towards that point of attachment, pull, inhale to reach, exhale to pull. And you can think face the palm up towards the ceiling as you row. I feel it a little bit more in my core when I position my hand like that as opposed to the palm being down. So think palm towards the ceiling, row the band back. Inhale to reach, exhale to row. Moving on to that bird dog row. So placing your hand on your elevated surface or just using 2 weights. Grab onto your weight and then opposite hand and leg are gonna be working together. So exhale to extend, inhale, come back. Really focusing on keeping that spine position. So we don't want to extend and begin to arch in the back. And we also don't want to be shifting in the hips from side to side. So keep the hips level. Exhale to extend, inhale to come back in. You can even put something on to your low back so that when you're going, if you begin to kind of rock, it would fall off. So that could be another option if you're not sure if you're maintaining a good hip position. Go ahead and switch sides. So placing your hand onto that block, putting weight into that hand and that opposite leg, and then exhale to extend, inhale, come back in. Moving into round number 3, our final round, back to that bridge march with lateral resistance. So grabbing onto your band, bring it to the center of your chest, elevate the hips or keep them down, and then begin to lift one leg at a time. So shift weight into that foot, and then lift, shift weight into that foot, and then lift. Switching sides, so face the head in the opposite direction. Bring that band into the center of the chest, and then push the band away from the chest, lift the hips, and then begin to shift from side to side. Keeping the hips as level as you can, so we don't want the hips to be dropping as you go. And then keeping that band in the center of the chest the entire time. There should be a desire to move towards that point of attachment, but resist it as best you can. Coming into our tabletop position, or your plank or bird dog position, outside arm is grabbing onto that band, and then think palm up towards the ceiling as you row. So reach towards that point of attachment, row the band out, reach, and then row. And then no, you don't have to find the hardest variation of this possible. It's okay to be in a more supported position because sometimes you can feel it more in the core as opposed to being like super wobbly as you try to do this from any other position. Switching sides, so face in the opposite direction now. Inside palm is down, outside hand is holding onto that band, finding your setup that works best for you. Reach towards that point of attachment, row out, feel it in that core. And then reach back, exhale, row. Inhale back in, exhale, row. Moving on to the final exercise, that bird dog row. So placing the hand onto a yoga block or to another weight. I'm gonna put weight into that knee and opposite hand, and then exhale, row.
Inhale, come back in. So again, think rowing back towards that bottom of the rib cage, not to the shoulder. So their arms should be forming this 90-degree angle as you row back. Focus on keeping the hips level so we're not arching in the back as we extend. Think like standing on the wall behind you as you extend that foot back. So really active through that leg. Switching sides, so placing that weight into the opposite hand, putting weight into that knee and supportive hand, and then exhale to extend, inhale, lower down.
So that concludes workout number 19. Today's workout was a pelvic stability focused workout. So we're focusing on the myofascial slings that help to support the pelvic girdle. So they cross the pelvic girdle joints to help them close better on themselves so they stabilize better under movement. And so if you like this workout, you can check out our pelvic stability program, which is all on-demand videos that help support strengthening the muscular coordination across the pelvic girdle so that you don't have to be in pain throughout your pregnancy into your postpartum period. If you like this workout, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. It helps our channel continue to grow so that we can keep giving you free content like this.